the Koobie, Ojibwe, and also the other tribes that we serve, which is the St. Croix, Chippewa, Bad River, Red Cliff, and Lac du Flambeau people. And so education is something that's really important to help people build communities, and I'm glad to be a part of that and help to lead that effort for our communities.
Well, St. Croix, that's your home territory, of course.
Right, and so it's good to be back with folks and to make some of those connections again. So especially with relatives that I haven't been able to see for a long time.
Bismarck, North Dakota, bustling area there as a result of the oil boom. Were you involved in the college there as well?
Right. So there was a few aspects that we worked on when it comes to oil. Our role really was to take a look at job creation and what our role would be to get our students graduated and prepared to work in the oil field. So we had a really strong welding program. A lot of our graduates would leave there after short-term training and then move into the field. Some worked independently and some would go to work for firms that were already established in the area. Some went to work for the local tribe up there. And we also had other folks that would come through the program and just be prepared to go into technology type related fields. A lot of our employees and our students ended up making either a career by working for a firm or they started their own businesses. And so it was a real exciting time and to be able to see people to gain their independence, and that's the role that education plays. And so there's a lot of opportunities like that here in Wisconsin, and we want to play a role in getting people to both be able to see the opportunities that are out there, but also to build their confidence in themselves by building their abilities and getting them prepared for those jobs. And so as Indian people, it's really important for us as leaders to establish that foundation by building relationships with firms and other people that are looking for strong graduates, and that's what we plan to do is build a strong student base by bringing in qualified professionals that are very much up to date in their fields and prepare those graduates to go out and be competitive for good wages that they can live on, and wages that will help them to raise their families in a quality place. And everybody deserves to be able to do that, and we know how to do that at the college, and that's what we're going to do, not just in fields that are really more obvious than other fields, but in fields that are up and coming and trends that are going to be coming along the way. And so we want to be leadership in those areas and help people to realize the potential that they have in helping to build our communities.
Again, my guest this morning, Russell Swagger, is the new president of the Lakota Ojibwe Community College. And describe the college for some who may not be familiar with it. Of course, it's located on Trapani Road. It's not far from WOJB. It's got a magnificent library that sort of stands out front, and that I was thinking about that beautiful chimney that rises above it. And it's been a growing school, and it's just about as old as WOJB.
Yeah. In August, we're getting ready to celebrate the 36th year that the college has been around, and probably about in the mid to late 60s, there was what's known as the tribal college movement, and so there's about 37 tribal colleges nationwide, and Lakota obviously had a vision long ago that they wanted to be able to college educate their people, and they felt that that was a way to sustain their communities into the future, and they understood the value and the importance of education, and so they opened the doors to their people, but also to other people in the surrounding communities, and so it's a real gem. And I always talk about tribal colleges as the window into the soul of tribal communities, because oftentimes we see that we hear about things that are traumatizing tribes. We hear about things that are maybe not so positive about what tribal nations are experiencing, but we oftentimes don't hear about the really great things that are happening in tribal communities. And there is so much language revitalization, cultural events that are happening that give people a sense of why things are done the way that they're done. Also, the tribal elders that are in our communities that are keeping all those traditions and ceremonies and things like that alive so that future generations can experience that. And all those kinds of things are happening at the college. And so for me, it's less about what I see when I drive onto the campus. It's more about what I feel when I come onto the campus. And I think all those things are things that you feel because people really they hold those things dear. It's important to them. And so when you're in a classroom or when you're in a meeting or whatever it might be, you feel that exchange of energy, that you understand how important it is for the college to be able to send their students off in a good way, whether you're an Indian student or a non-Indian student. We want you to understand the contributions that Ojibwe people have made, but we also want to have an exchange where we understand as much as we can about the communities where students come from and where they are personally in their lives as well too. So there's a lot of rich, meaningful cultural exchanges that happen. Now I've only been there 4 weeks. How do I know this? You see it, you hear it, you feel it. It's very much a feeling that exists on the campus, and that's pretty powerful. And so I just invite people to, take a little bit of time out of their schedule and come out and experience that for themselves.
Well, again, my guest, Russell Swagger, he's the new president of the Ojibwe Community College, and as you heard him say, he's been there 4 weeks. When you talk about the elders, we are in a place which is being run by, by the elders. Koobie's Coffee, which is, understand means, the grandmothers. This is their place, and they put money into it individually, and all the money goes right back into this little business here, which has become a favorite stopping place for many people. And then they donate money to help young people, perhaps with their efforts as students. You mentioned, Russell, that we have at the college. It is a college for all the people in this region, and it is not uncommon. I just spoke with a fellow, it's been a couple of weeks ago. I said, what are you planning to do? What's your future look like? He said, well, I'm going to start attending Koobie College. This is a young man from up in the Cable area. His family's been here for a number of generations, but they're not native, and not natives themselves, but they come to this college to get what for many is a start, because this college is connected to all. Well, tell us about the relationship that the Ojibwe Community College has with the university systems in the state and others, and its accreditation that is obviously so important. If you're going to begin here, you want to know that you can transfer, that you can move on, that what you learned here will be accepted, the classes you take here, the credits you learn will be accepted elsewhere.
Right. I think that's one of the things that people like parents and students that are going to go to the school want to make sure that they look closely at is the ability for the credits that they earn to transfer somewhere else, especially if they're going to be going on and maybe getting a bachelor's or a master's or something like that. So that's part of the value that an institution can bring to you. And so that legitimizes the programs that you have, and what it tells you as a consumer is that the school that you're going to has to pass a rigorous set of standards by the federal government and by independent agencies, that you're for real, and the programs that you offer have credentialed folks that have experience in the areas, and that the programs they're teaching are quality programs. So when you leave here, you have a piece of paper that tells the rest of the world that you've gone through a quality program, and that the degree that you have is genuine, and that it can transfer to other places. So that is very important, because you don't want to invest all your time and money and then find out that your degree doesn't mean anything. And so people can go to the Higher Learning Commission website. They can even go to our website and click on the HLC logo and find out for themselves that we're accredited and that we have passed those rigorous tests that are set for us. And so I think what I'm looking forward to is eventually building in the ability to offer bachelor's degree programs. This will be, several years down the road because we're just not at that point right now. But after 30 years in higher education and going through the processes with accreditation and getting programs ready, I would say that after we have built that track record that the Learning Commission looks for, we'll be very much prepared to and positioned to offer bachelor's degree programs. So if you want to be a part of a growing and a maturing and a sophisticated program, that can very much give you the value that you're looking for in education. Le Coudray is that place. We have many great things to offer at the college, and as long as I'm there, we're going to have premier quality programs that we're going to continue to do the things that we've done in the past, but we're going to do them better and we're going to do them stronger. And the folks that are at the college are committed to this. We have an amazing group of people that work there every day, and they're always set on making sure that that program is quality too, because their name and reputation stands with that as well too. So we're working hard for our community, and so we have a lot invested into this, and we understand what your investment means to you as well. So,
well, I know that one of the early programs that some that I'm very aware of, at least, is the nursing program. You can begin here and then move on to other institutions and complete your certification, if your accreditation as a nurse. Tell me about that and what others.
Right.
You have links with to other schools.
Right. So the nursing program not only has to go through an accreditation process on a national level, but it has to go through accreditation on more of a state and local level too. We also try to involve people from the local health industry to sit on an advisory board and tell us, what they think is important to be built into the program so that it's relevant and it's current and students are gaining the knowledge and experience that they need so that they're prepared when they go into the field. And so there's a lot of hands that are involved and minds that go into the decision making about the program so that there is more value there. And we want, especially with a nursing program, people to be highly qualified and prepared when they go into this field to be able to take care of the people that are important to all of us. And so we understand the need for those programs to have all of the partners involved that can help us to bring that program to the highest quality. So again, that's one of those programs where we're looking to build up to the point where people can, maybe someday get a master's in nursing. Who knows what the possibilities are there. But it's very much a need in Indian country to have qualified medical professionals, and everything that we can do at the college to help stress the importance of keeping yourself well and taking care of yourself now will help to make you better in the future. Those are all the kinds of messaging that goes with a program like that. So that's a program that's not just valuable to Indian people, that's a program that's valuable to all communities. And so we need more people like that. Our program is a very popular program. We have people that are coming from the Twin Cities and all over to be a part of that program. And we invite people to come. We're going through some changes now that I'm here, and we're looking at just strengthening that program and making that some program that's envied by others because of the quality that we're bringing to it.
Changes from what to what in that program?
Right. I think right now we're taking a look at moving from a program that is not just looking at a general health and wellness perspective, but one that's looking at what is specific to tribal populations, what is specific to some of the people that you're working with. So there might be a specialty, for example, in gerontology or things like that as well. The possibilities are just unlimited, but we want to make sure that it's a program that's relevant to the people that we're working with in this area.
Mm-hmm. Again, to remind our listeners, this is WOJB Reserve, Wisconsin. We're broadcasting from Koobie's Coffee at the corner of Highways B and K here at Le Coudray. It's a coffee shop run by the grandmas and contributing its profits to the young people of this community. as well. And my guest this morning is Russell Swagger, who is the new president of the Ojibwe Community College. You're from St. Croix, Turtle Lake area originally, and of course there's an outreach program that the college has to these other communities, and by classroom television, the interconnectivity. Tell us about that.
Well, technology has
Amazes us.
yeah, it's helped us to do many amazing things, but it's also presented us with several challenges too. And I remember starting out with technology in the college, and we had moved literally from opening up the ground and laying a cable into the cold earth, and to where it's wireless now, and where kids are walking around with tablets and cell phones, and that's how they're communicating. So I just don't think we've done a real good job of keeping up with the technology in terms of just a nation, but we still have areas where students don't have access to education. We still have areas where students can't afford the connection for technology, and so these outreach centers enable students to be able to come to a place where it's more centralized and they can learn and be a part of the actual classroom experience if they're not able to come to our campus here. Right now we're limited by housing. We have a lack of housing on our campus, and that's something that I'm going to be working on. And so until we're able to do that, students have the option of attending these. So I've been to two of those sites since I've been here, Lac du Flambeau and St. Croix, and students can learn right in the classroom, and it's real time, so it's happening instantaneously. So it's not the for people that want that experience. I would encourage people, if they could, to come to the campus, and even if they are an outreach student, and make that connection with people there, so that they know that we're here to support them, and there is other people out there that are helping to move through their educational process.
Russell, when you said housing, you don't have housing. Do you mean housing as in dormitory, as in place
Right.
for students to come and be here on campus? Yeah.
Right. And housing builds a sense of community, and it also gives more definition to us as a campus, and it makes college more affordable for people, and it helps to close that gap and increase access to people that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to do that. And it's a limitation for us right now. There are schools that are moving away from that model and going more to the online presence and learning digitally, so to speak. But as Indian people, I think it's important for us to maintain that connection and be rooted in who we are. And so that sense of place, that sense of community, is really important. And so I'm looking forward to building that space that will allow for those cultural exchanges and learning to happen outside of the classroom to enhance what students are getting inside of the classroom. So I think there's a lot of value in continuing that model for Le Coudray.
So developing a campus, so it's not simply computer or online, but a community.
It's a community, and it's integrated fully into the surrounding communities as well. And so giving those people the opportunity that they otherwise wouldn't have. And I would imagine that is a limitation for some people. So I envision single student dormitories, but I also see the possibility of doing family housing as well. And so we're exploring some of those options. We're actually going through a master facility planning right now, where we're talking to constituents and we're saying, what do you envision for the future? What does the future campus contain? And so, we've heard things like we want athletic programs, and we want the facilities that go with that, wellness center, for people to be focused on their health and their mental health, physical health, those kinds of things. A place for elders, a place for children, so a self-contained community for people that are pursuing their education, so that those barriers are removed for them. And I've worked with a model like that. I worked at United Tribes Technical College in Bismarck, North Dakota, and the founders there recognize that if their Native students are going to be successful in a non-Indian community, that they needed to have those supports. And so I agree fully that if you have those, I don't call them amenities, I call them necessities. If you have those necessities available for students, then you're able to help them to focus on what's important, which is their education. And you take away a lot of the concerns that they have in their daily lives, and that's important to people, so that they can sit down, open a textbook, and do the rigorous study that they need to do to attain their education. And without those kinds of things, I think many people forgo an education and they make a sacrifice to their family, and we want to be able to make sure that everybody has an access. So those are some of the things that would be a part of this future campus. Of course, we still have to go through the process of getting everybody's input into it and talking about what's realistic and those kinds of things. But I'm the kind of person that believes that you have to dream, and you have to dream big. And I've seen dreams become reality. And I'm the kind of leader that believes in working hard to make those things happen for the community.
So at the United Tribes in Bismarck, you had dormitories. Is that, do I understand?
Right.
Yeah.
We had single student dormitories. We also had family housing. We had daycare. We had a K through 8 school for students that were in 9 to 12. We bused them into schools in the community where we work with local educators there. So we had a cafeteria, mailroom, security, so everything that you would need to operate a small community, almost a small reservation in some senses, was there in that community.
One of the most difficult things about an education these days is paying for it, and then paying back the loans if you need to take them. What does the college? What does it cost, and how does the college assist? And is it possible to complete a course of study without leaving a debt, or having a debt when you leave? Excuse me.
Right. Excuse me. So we're competitive. We're at about $190 a credit hour right now. I'm taking a look at all of the finances right now to see where we can strengthen our programs. And I think what's important for people to know about the leaving there without a debt is that somebody has to pay for that. There's no such thing as a free education. And so how do you do that so that the college can sustain itself, but also so that people can get a quality education? And that's kind of the challenge and the goal that we have right now. So what I'm looking at is bringing more resources into the college, especially in the area of scholarship assistance, and helping students be able to afford their education. So the tribe helps out a lot. The tribes that support the students help out a lot. Students, most of our students get Pell Grant assistance. Of course, that's starting to become less available to people as well. So it's very important that we get into the community and we build partnerships. So businesses that can help us to operate our programs, partnerships that way, where we're building quality students graduate and go into these positions that these businesses have available to them. Those kind of partnerships are going to help us make an education affordable to people. So those are the things that I'm really excited about, getting out and talking to businesses and community organizations, civic organizations, and other people about. And we've done some of that already. But we have a lot more doors to knock on, and we have a lot of other partners that we want to try to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So we're excited about that.
Russell, what's happening now at the college today, in the next weeks?
Well, we're getting ready for the fall semester, which I'm really excited about. Right now our enrollment is up, and we're looking at strategies to bring some more students through the doors. So we're out and building relationships in the communities that we're in, getting ready to go up to Bad River and talk to the folks up there. We've been to Lac du Flambeau and St. Croix already, talking to freshmen and juniors and sophomores and seniors, and asking them what their educational goals are, and how can we be a part of their pathway to an education. So just making sure that when those doors open in the fall, we're strong and we're ready. And so I've been doing a lot of team building, talking to employees, finding out where their strengths, talents, and passions are at. Those are the three things that I always ask people. It's easier to get somebody to do something that they're really excited about and they love, as opposed to trying to drag somebody along to do something that they don't want to do. And so when I know what your strengths, talents, and passions are, I can match that up with the project that we have or somebody else that we have that maybe shares those same interests, and that helps us to get some cohesive energy working towards the same common goals. And so those are the kinds of things. So building an excitement and anticipation for the fall semester, in just a sense that we're hitting the refresh button and getting ready for the fall. And so I'm excited. There's a lot of good things that are going to be happening come the fall. So.
Well, Russell, it's been great visiting with you.
Yeah,
Getting to
too.
know you. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to see each other again. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Russell Swaggart, he's the new president of the Lekooteree Ojibwe Community College. I'm Eric Schubling, and we're broadcasting from Koobie's Coffee at the corner of Highways B and K, County Roads B and K. It's across from the C store. We're kind of at the that complex of buildings here, the Travel Center and the casino across the road, and right here at Koobie's, which is becoming a favorite spot for very many. And in a few moments, we'll be joined by Tweed Shuman, member of the Lekooteree tribal government. So let's do that right now. Tweed, good morning.
Good morning, Eric. Thank you.
It's good to have you with us this morning. Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate this opportunity, Eric.
Yeah. Well, the tribal council meets every Monday. And a couple of months ago, you and I bumped into each other. You were out getting some exercise, and I was avoiding it. And you said you really would like to work on what you referred to as transfer. I said you thought one way to do that would be to have a regular conversation about what the tribal governing board is doing, what's happening around the world, and particularly the impact of decisions and discussions and actions of the council are or may have on the community. What's up?
Exactly. Thank you, Eric. Like I said before, I really appreciate this opportunity. Tribal Governing Board is making a real initiative to increase transparency, open our doors, and let the tribal members know what's going on at tribal government. And we value their input. We like to let everyone know what our initiatives are, what our strategic planning is, and as I said, get some input from the membership as far as which way we should go, where we should spend our money, and planning going forward would be very important to the entire membership, not just TGB members. So yeah, one real exciting thing that has recently happened is our health center has hired a new director, and we had a meet and greet yesterday at the Tribal Governing Board and at the health center. So Jacqueline Bay, as most people know, was hired, and she had started her orientation yesterday. She met with tribal government. We had some good discussions, and we're real excited and for this opportunity to have her serve our tribal members in this way. Mm-hmm. The health center's made some great progress now to get back on their feet, providing excellent patient care. We have an excellent staff over there, and if we can continue that with Jacqueline Bay. And we want to thank Mr. Don Smith, who stepped in many times for us as interim health director. Did a wonderful job, and I was kind of a little sad that he didn't apply for the director position, but he probably has his hands full, and he's the facilities manager anyway, so he'll stay there. He does a great job for us there. So we're excited about that. We're also got an initiative going to open the store right next to us.
Right next to
C2.
us. Oh.
Yeah, it's been kind of embarrassing and an eyesore for us that building is locked up and people have to use their card at the pump and they're coming to the door and trying to get in and it's locked. It's just a bad eyesore for the tribe. I mean, if we can't keep a business open on this intersection in Sawyer County, that does not look good for us.
Well, on either side, of course, the Federal Credit Union at one end of the building and Koobie's here at the other end.
Yeah, both thriving businesses, you know. And so, long story short, our chairman and tribal governing board made a decision. We're gonna put at least 1 or 2 employees in here, open that till, open that door, provide some refreshments, snacks, you know, like most gas stations do, not to compete with our C-store across the street, but people do stop here for fuel, diesel fuel. It's easy access for big trucks and trailers, resort vacationers, and sometimes the cards always don't work at the pump. And you know, the poor folks who work here at Koobie's or the credit union need to go out there and assist with that, and that's really not their job. We need someone here to open the door, turn on the lights, make it look appealing, and make the whole reservation look better. So that we've applied for some licenses that have expired, you know, so we can sell some goods out of there. That's under a week away, thanks to the Town of Hayward Board, which is going to have a special meeting coming up to approve those licenses for us. We have a great rapport with the town and obviously with the county, as I talked about. So that, and I want to thank also Lynette Tribble, the manager at our C-store, who is assisting us in getting an employee over there, opening the doors, and putting some product in place. She's also helping with the licenses. Everybody's probably noticed some construction just down from the
Yes,
C2
indeed. What had become, I think, for some, a service road.
Correct.
Kind of.
So I guess since we purchased this gas station, we've been attempting to put this in trust, this property. And to do so, we've had to jump through many hoops, and the main last hoop is this service road. This service road cannot be there for our land to be in trust. That's according to the BIA.
Oh.
So Hayward Propane, our neighbor there to the west, we had to help them provide a driveway off Highway B so we could close this service road. We're going to keep the ATV trail open, but that's the construction going on right now, and that's our last hurdle to get C2 in trust.
That's
So we
interesting.
expect that by this fall.
You can't have a service road on trust land.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, describe for some who may be wondering, what is a trust land? What is that?
To put land in trust means that it's non-taxable land, it's part of the reservation boundaries, and we would not have to pay taxes on the goods and fuel that we sell here, similar to our C-store.
Which is why the numbers up there on the sign is always a little less than that.
Taxable fuel and products. So it's very
Yeah.
important for us to put in trust.
Tweed Shuman, you're on the Sawyer County Board as well. What news can you share from there? And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that coming up soon is the On of the Earth Podcast. We'll probably talk about that next week.
We will, and I'll bring someone here to talk about that, as I did with the casino project they had. But yeah, it actually works very well together. I've been a Sawyer County Board Supervisor for going on 8 years now. And as you know, I was recently elected chairman of the Sawyer County Board, which I really enjoy that. It works really well with the tribe. We've created some bridges now that in the past I feel have been burned, and we're moving in a great direction.
Yeah,
We run
burned
a lot
or
of
unbuilt.
committees together.
Yeah.
We run the transit, we run, well, many things. Economic development, which is huge, county and the tribe. Right now we're working on an initiative of criminal justice coordinator committee. I don't know if I've talked about that in the past.
I think we brought that up.
That's regarding the bail bond testing.
Yeah.
Both our Native American people and Sawyer County folks that are awaiting sentencings or their court appearance. If we can, with this position, we can actually place these people in programming, treatment, or rehab centers versus just putting them in jail. In jail, they really don't get any help. They're just awaiting sentencing. It's no good for anyone. If we can get them programming, rehab, and treatment, this will go a long way to keep them at home, keep them with their families, working, and working through these programs and rehabilitation. It's been proven that it's much further ahead. The recidivism rate is much lower when someone goes into rehab, treatment, or programming versus sitting in jail. And that's where we want our people. And there's 50 to 60% tribal members that are in that. So the tribe and the county are working together to fill this position so that we can divert these folks into program.
Tweed, just this morning, news out of Ashland County. Ashland County is expecting they're going to have a referendum. I believe it's November. I'm not sure if it's the August 14th primary or the November general election, but they are going to have a referendum to raise the mill rate in order to get money to pay for what is the expenses that have gone up so much because of, in particular, methamphetamine use. Several years ago, there were some 100 persons who were being dealt with because of methamphetamine. Now it's up to 300. It's costing that county a great deal of money, and they don't have it. It's been coming out of their stumpage or sales tax, and they've maxed out of those. So they're having a referendum to deal with it. They figure they need at least $1 million. Is the county facing the same kind of challenge because of drug abuse?
We are. This is a crisis, Eric, and it's an epidemic that's not going away. The tribe we're in a state of emergency. Our chairman did that last fall, and we've ramped up services, and it's not only affecting the tribe or our county, it's statewide, multi-statewide. I mean, this is a true epidemic. So we're working on rehabilitation. As I said, we want to put efforts to prevention and education at the front end of this problem, because you're never going to catch up on the back end. I mean, you can build all the treatment centers you want, but before you do that, you need to address the front end, where it's starting, why it's starting, which we're doing with our pain management program at the health center, with education and prevention in the schools. Our counselors, through the LCO Health Center and through Sawyer County, are doing a great job now going out in the community, into the schools, and teaching prevention. Showing that our young people that there's a different way. There's a cultural way, and there's an educational way we can go versus turn to these things that are just a downward spiral. So, yeah, our the county's budget alone is really impacted by this. Our jail is full. We're transporting people out of the county to other jails because we're full. You can imagine the price on that. So our Public Safety Committee, our Health and Human Services Committee, and the tribe, have joined together to really how we're going to fight this. And rehabilitation and programming is the way we're looking at this. So, yeah, big problem. We're addressing it. We have a great team. I want to say kudos to our mental health, behavioral health, CCS program out here at our new Bashiki Wellness Center. Tammy Bergam, Gary Gerard, Marie Basty, and their staff have really ramped up services for us. So we're gonna open the doors, and for our community, for tribal members, they're gonna get services there now, and we're gonna rehab these folks and try to do, like I said, prevention, education at the front end.
Yeah. Tweed, been great having you again. Council meetings are open to the public except for those
executive sessions, correct?
Sessions,
yes.
Closed sessions.
And we really value. We have a elder group that comes to our meetings and gives their input, and we really value that. That's very good. We give the opportunity for those folks to speak, and of course, there's things that are in executive session, negotiations, things like that, personnel that we really want to keep within the chambers and confidential. So, but other than that, yeah. We value all that.
And you'll be bringing some of that news as much as we can fit in on any given Tuesday morning. Tweed Shuman, thank you very, very much for coming in, and also thanks to Russell Swaggart for joining us, the new president of the Ojibwe Community College. Always something exciting happening here.
you're clear.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Nice job.
All right.
Eric.
Take care.
I will get here too.
We've got 123. We've got plenty of time. I'll do a little ID
Okay.
and we'll.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. I know.
I mean, I've back in the day when NPR had 8.5-minute features,
Yeah.
I could practice and for decades, right?
Yeah.
I knew 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I had my own internal clock. I have a